Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia, bringing you another Opal Tower update. I got a lot of people messaging me and messaging me on Facebook, and tonight's update is called Opal Tower Cockamania. And Cockamania, completely irrational, unfounded, baseless, chaotic, disorganized, catastrophic, and or delusional idea, thought, or plan. So what is happening with the Opal Tower? And guys, it's really interesting how if you go to Opal Tower on Google, you could actually see reviews on it, which is really, it's sitting at a solid 2.0. I think it has 2 5-star reviews, and that's it. Very interesting to see how some of that stuff sometimes backfires. There's a couple of fake 5 stars up there, which is kind of cute to kind of prop it up so it doesn't look too bad, right? So what's going on, guys? So, you know, I've been covering this for many years. I'm no Captain Obvious. A lot of people know that. I'm no Captain Obvious. I've been doing this for many years, not talking about the Opal Tower, but I've been talking about the housing fiasco in Australia, in the UK, Canada, and the United States of America. It's going to be 9 years this summer. It was 8 years this year. It's going to be 9 years this summer. And this is the first time where we artificially deflated rates to keep this stagnation going. We are right now in a deflationary environment. Rising death. Oh yeah, rising death for sure. Rising debt has surpassed the rising wages by, I think, like 400%, some bizarro number, depending on what colony, penal colony you're living in. I like to call Australia penal colony 1114. Canada's 1111. USA is 1112. The UK is 1113. Australia is 1114. And penal colony 5 is New Zealand 1115. So anyways, you know, they did this quantitative easing to manufacture this huge deception of bail-ins in the banks, and it's absolutely it's disgusting. So I've been doing this for years. So I'm no Captain Obvious on the scene. I've been doing this for years. And what I don't understand is these people making all these real estate videos now. I'm seeing everywhere. I'm like, stop for it. Where were you 5-6 years ago, or even 2 years ago, when I was getting garbage thrown at me and people destroying me in the comment section? You know, just the most disgusting things said to me when I said the market's going to crash 40-50% easy. When I said it about Australia, I said Australia is 70%. 60-70%. I said the UK has got another 30% to go. Okay, Canada's got 40-50% to go. The United States needs about an 18% correction in the normal part of the US, but along the west coast from Vancouver, Canada, all the way to the bottom to the south tip of Tijuana, San Diego border, that needs about a 70%, 60% correction. 6 million people left California in the last 6 years. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, what happened to all these where are all these Captain Obviouses before this crap happened? That's my question to you. Now, people are saying, why are you talking about Opal Tower and stuff? Well, because it's coming to a city near you. Why? Just like the crash is coming to a city near you and it'll affect every human being, this is coming to a city near you because the amount of speedy jobs that are out there. Sydney is dubbed as Crane City, construction cranes on every corner. But it's now starting to pay a toll, and people are seeing it. Opal Tower report blames damage on multiple design and construction faults. Failure to complete one small construction task helped cause the significant damage that saw residents kicked out of the Sydney's Opal Tower. So if you are just joining me on my channel, guys, check my other Opal Tower videos that I've been doing. There's a huge series on this. It's crazy. And like I said, it's coming to a city near you. No doom and gloom. Not trying to... there's another one out of England right now where it's a complete death trap. I covered on trends in the housing market on Wednesday nights. I do trends in the housing market. And it's an absolute disaster. It's turning into a massive death trap. Yeah, okay, I'll keep you guys posted on that. It's somewhere on the outskirts of London, northeast of London or something. Anyways, a relatively simple error in construction of Sydney's infamous Opal Tower apartment block was partially blamed to a damage that forced hundreds of residents to be evacuated on Christmas Eve. 2 months later, at least 200 of the 400 units remain empty, with some residents saying they will never return to the cracked complex. Beams at Sydney's infamous Opal Tower were prone to failure, and there were multiple design and construction faults, according to the Damaged New South Wales Government Commission report released this morning. Parts of the building are significantly damaged, the probe's author said. However, neither the building nor developer were singled out in singled out in the report for blame. Sorry, it's been a long day. Lack of grouting. The reports looked at the most significant cracking and damage found on levels 4 and 10. It found while the building was structurally sound overall, horizontal support beams and the building were of inferior strength and were not compliant. Ooh. During the numerous visits to the site of the Opal Tower, we inspected and re-inspected a number of locations where significant damage had occurred to load-bearing concrete members, the author said. One key reason for cracking and fracturing in the building was simply lack of grouting between the concrete panels and the load-bearing hob beams. The design drawing indicate that the full grout coverage was expected between the panel and the hob beam. However, during construction, only the inner surfaces of the approximately 50 to 70% of the joint will appear to have been grouted, the report detailed. The partial grout covered led to an eccentric bearing load and elevated bearing and bursting stress on the hob beams. Wow. So it wasn't fully grouted. It wasn't filled, basically. And yeah, that's gonna... Very basic stuff sometimes causes the Titanic to sink, right? So, a substandard concrete. The decision is taken after the initial design to grout only partially the joints between hob beams and panels significantly raise the levels of stress on the hob beams. Well, of course, because it's not taking the load off it, right? We found some of the hob beams and panel assemblies were under-designed, according to the National Construction Code and Australian standards, leaving the beam prone to failure. So they basically set it up for failure. What the heck? On level 4 of the building, the authors found that in addition to inadequate grouting, a lower strength concrete was poured around the beam, leading to a state of high stress. On level 10, issues with the concrete coverage was exacerbated by the installation of the electrical conduit through the area. Wow, so they didn't fill around the conduit, so they just kind of, oh, we got a conduit to put here. Ah, don't worry, it's the conduit's fault. We gotta put in less material here. Wow. Remediation works include adding additional grouting around the beams and placing extra columns next to some concrete panels. There was a range of construction issues that occurred, which were not compliant with Australia's standards, and aspects of the design which led to structurally inadequate sections of the Opal Tower, the report said. While no evidence has been found that those responsible for certifying work did not conform with requirements, it is evident that the number of checks and compliance were not undertaken or undertaken with within significant rigor. So here you go, and then here, this is a really good little image here. This shows us where the hob beam and the support is being how it's being leveled out, or how the support or the weight's being transmitted. Here are the stress levels on the beam. Sorry, stress levels, okay. The report said qualified structural engineers should check the final design and construction proposals for the tower before major recentrification works between the building was deemed completely safe. We have found no evidence contradicting our interim assertion of the buildings in overall structurally sound, although there is a significant damage to some elementals. The expert engineers report recommended creating database of registered engineers in New South Wales building certifications, along with building structure review board to monitor known property design flaws and shape the building codes of the New South Wales government, and said it was committed to implementing the recommendation. Wow, look at this. Escape the blame. Opal Tower's developer Ecove and builder Icon, part of Japan's Kijima Corporation, escaped censor in the report, with the author saying they were not seeking to apportion blame. Whoa. We have not sought to indicate who's responsible for any of the cases, but rather to establish their structural biases, the report stated. About 170 Opal Tower apartments have been deemed fit for reoccupation, but 224 units will still unfit earlier this month, with dozens of families still left in temporary accommodation. All right, guys, here you have it. I got family arriving here, and I wanted to throw this out there and let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because it is a very significant thing that's happening. And it's happening, guys. It's really happening, and I think it's going to be coming to a city near you. And, yeah, I think this is going to be a lot more pertinent or a lot more problematic than in other structures around. Not because the Opal Tower is going to be the blueprint for every other condominium out there. I think it's going to be more problematic in a way where a lot of people have rush jobs, and a lot of contracting companies were seeing the crash on the horizon, or seeing people defaulting on or not being able to secure financing on something, or people walking away from deposits. So especially with the loom of the crash in the horizon, a lot of people, like, who's going to pay $500,000 to $750,000 for a condo, for a 2-bedroom? It's ludicrous, but people have paid for it. And now, because a lot of people in the United States are saying, hey, Mike, who cares about this Opal Tower thing, man? It's so somebody lost $60,000 on a condo. Who cares? No, people lost like $750,000 on a condo. You know, people, my friends, like people watching me in New Orleans, people watching me in Florida, South Carolina, like, Mike, what if? Well, who cares? A 70 grand condo. Who cares? Yeah, I know where you're from. 1 bedroom's 50 to 70, maybe 100,000 for a nice area. That's almost $1 million, okay? And that's a lot of dough you're paying for a faulty condo. And that's the sad part. You would honestly think, hand to God, you'd honestly believe that this would be the best built tower on the planet for what you're paying for a little 1,200 square foot or 800 square foot unit. It's phenomenal. It's incredible. It's astronomical. I don't even know how to put this. I don't even speak enough English to give you guys enough information of what I think of this. This is beyond anything. Beyond. And what do people pay here for strata? I mean, I'd like to know. I'd like to have somebody on the show that lives in this tower to come on the show and maybe give us a little insight on what's going on and what's happening with the whole strata thing. You know what I'm saying? This is phenomenal. This is, I mean, I'm not an engineer. I'm nowhere near an engineer. I mean, I barely graduated from high school, but I was always taught to do a job right and do it good and do it well. I don't know what to say about this, guys. I'm really disappointed. Very disappointed with this, and they will be coming to a city near us, guys. Wow. Look at the bowing of reinforcement. Wow. Sorry, earlier, guys, I had some people walking in the house there, talking to the wife and the kids there. Oh, look at that. Oh, lovely. Splendid. Christ. I'm blown away, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Opal Tower update. The Opal Tower Cockamania at the Olympic Village in Sydney, Australia. Comment below. I'd like to know. Thanks for watching.